Hello everyone. So this one is kind of an update video again. I have lost my monitor temporarily. The second monitor, because I usually have the first monitor here, second monitor there, and I do my editing on my video editing on the second monitor. The second monitor has just stopped working, and I need to order a replacement part for it. So video editing is going to be a nightmare, editing from this quite small screen. Not impossible, but a nightmare. Um, Lots of focusing, lots of micro editing and things like that. I have been wondering about what the point is for on YouTube. Just in general, I don't know why I'm here anymore. And that isn't me being dramatic. I don't mean to be dramatic anymore. And I've seen a lot of other people kind of question the same thing and ask the same question and wonder why they're here. Because YouTube as a platform is pretty punishing. We are being replaced by AI quicker than you can imagine. And YouTube doesn't care about that at all. YouTube just really wants money. And I think people, AI or not, are giving them it. So in the end, we end up in a situation where I'm just not feeling the love. I've not felt it for a long time, to tell you the truth. And YouTube really does feel like sometimes being in a not particularly nice, to keep it PG, relationship where everything is your fault, everything you're doing is wrong, even when you know it isn't, and that as an experience is not fun because you really do feel like that you're dealing with the worst elements of content creation. And you're dealing with it on a constant daily basis. For an example, the UI behind the scenes, it gets harder and harder to use every single day. They really want to make our lives as creators harder and harder. In order to access YouTube Audio Library, you have to go through this button and this button and this button. No, just give me access to the website. It's not a hard thing. It doesn't make sense. So, apologies if I'm a bit backwards and forwards. I'm trying to get the framing right. So yeah, um, as a behind the scenes look, yeah, things kind of suck, and the AI is not great. As an assistant, if you don't know, Gemini is built into YouTube now. I've asked it many questions about analytics. It said, "Oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?" And none of it makes a difference. Uh, I got told make really nice thumbnails, and I'm about halfway through making good thumbnails for all of my videos. No measurable difference whatsoever. Oh, why don't you talk about this topic instead? Okay, sure, I'll try that. I try it, doesn't work. Um, I ask it for insights about statistics about my data, help me interpret the data. It can't do that. It just sort of looks at it and goes, "Oh, well, it could be this, it could be that." You ask it two questions, it does the same thing. It gives different answers completely. So yeah, it's really frustrating. And I've done YouTube for 10 years. And I guess this is the section where I talk about that. I have been on this platform for 10 years, over 10 years actually. But sure, we'll round it to 10 years. It sounds better. On and off, a long time, very long time. there is something wrong with this platform. And okay, there's a couple of things wrong with this platform. It rewards negative behavior and then punishes you for doing the negative behavior. The algorithm does one thing and the system behind the scenes does another thing. You are told to be positive, upbeat, happy, even when you don't feel it. And then you are told, actually, though, negativity sells. And it's really exhausting trying to keep up because they're really, really like inconsistent with their standards, and what's positive and what's negative changes every other week. In the past, like I say, I had an ASMR channel. You may or may not believe that, but I did. Wasn't huge. It was relatively successful though. Left and came back to that a couple of times. I had a politics channel. Don't really give a crap about politics anymore. Before that, I had, well, in the middle of that, I had a channel on druidry and more religious kind of occulty practices, and that didn't do particularly well. I've had channels that weren't YouTube channels as well. I've tried minds.com, lots of other websites as well. And I just question why I'm doing it. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to stop doing it. They've got me by the balls, I guess. That I just don't know what the point is. What do they want from me? What do they want me to do? What does it take to be successful? What does it take to beat that 5,000 subscribers mark? And is it 1,000 or 10,000 or something like that? Watch hours. What does it want from me? I really wish there was a sort of system that, or a person or an assistant or something that would tell me, what does it take? Because you're telling me to do thumbnails, you're telling me to change my commentary, you're telling me to change the topics I'm talking about, you're telling me to be a completely different person. And I do that, and no result. So what's the point? Really, what is the point? Again, like I say, I'm not quitting. They've got me firmly in their grasp. But I just wish we could get some feedback. I wish we could get some information as small channels, what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong, that isn't wild AI hallucination guesses. And it really does piss me off, to tell you the truth. Because I know that I don't have the best production quality in the world. I'm not Mr. Beast. Or anybody else who actually has nice production quality. I'm not a particularly, handsome chap. But I've seen worse. I don't have the best voice in the world, but I don't have the worst voice in the world. No matter what topic I talk about, it is always the same result. Always the same. A little bit of interest, then YouTube drops me. And it is YouTube that's dropping me. And now they're not talking about views, they're talking about impressions. And I say, okay, well, that reminds me a lot of the time when I was working in education, and they literally said, as a positive, well, if we flip the graph this way, it looks really good, and our school's doing really, really well. But if we flip the graph the other way, then we're doing things really bad, and we're not succeeding as a school. So which one do you want to believe? I believe the negative one. Which isn't acceptable. It really isn't. To have a graph that can go one of two ways when you put it through a statistical model, analyze it this way, analyze it that way. It's just, it's one of those things where I really hate it. Wishy-washy statistics is one of my pet peeves, I guess. And I guess that kind of leads more broadly onto the topic of trying. And I just really don't want to be overly negative. I really don't. But I just don't see the point in trying to do anything anymore. Now, to tell you the truth, I've had some really hard kind of jobs. Trying to keep them forever. It's really hard. I've had some really difficult jobs and really difficult times, physically difficult, mentally difficult, bullying, all kinds of things. And above all of that is the kind of YouTube chase, the cock tease of all of this. Like, I can put me in a factory at the top floor, sweating my ass off, struggling to survive in the heat. My legs red raw from rubbing together. Had that happen before. You can throw me into an environment that is so socially toxic that I struggle to even make it out alive. Because people are so horrible. I can survive that. Just about. But giving me the hint that I am going to succeed, giving me the tease, the drip feed of success, and then swiping it away, that's cruel. That's real nasty stuff, man. And that's what YouTube's done for 10, 15, whatever years it's actually been. It's constantly just made it so that everything that I chase, everything that I do, every path that I follow is pointless. And I feel like everybody else on here is getting to that point as well. Now, there are people who've got a couple of thousand likes and 50 subscribers or whatever, and I look at them and I go, oh yeah, they're doing pretty good. But to get to that point, they had to work for 15 years. Just push the videos out to people. That's it. That's all YouTube has to do. Just show the videos to people who would be interested in that category. Don't tell us to optimize. Don't tell us to change our content, the way that we do things. Just do your job. Stop getting algorithms to do it. Stop getting, making it so that everything is AI based. And especially stop allowing the promotion of AI content on YouTube. Full stop. You will never see me do AI or use AI on this. The most AI thing about this channel is the background, because the background, I believe, is powered by some algorithm or something from NVIDIA, which removes the lovely fish tank and makes it more blurry and makes me the focus of the shot. That's it. And I'm not even sure that's a true AI. They just slap a label on it of AI on everything these days. So yeah, I'm just really frustrated. I'm really annoyed. YouTube is like the worst boss, the most lackadaisical boss out there. And I respect that one view is one view. One like is one like, All of these are metrics that we really value as creators. But I also really hate this platform because I've literally jumped onto other platforms before which have tiny, by comparison, absolutely tiny footprints, or what would the word be? Foot traffic, if that's the right word. Small amounts of people. And yet they get me more views. I don't understand it. I really don't. Like, how is YouTube doing this badly? And I'll tell you what it is. 98% of people are sucked into the AI bubble. 98% of people are consuming AI, using AI content, pumping AI content out. And they're over here. We, the little circle of people who are real, even bigger channels are getting no views now. We are stuck here. We're stuck we're stuck probably over here. We are like way outside of all of this. And attention span is getting smaller and smaller. And in the end, we only lose. Because there's too much money in it. Of course, it's a bubble. All bubbles pop. But until it does pop, we, like, all of the resources, all of the, kind of interest is going to get poured into AI. And poured into AI generated content. And memes and things like that. So actually, my channel's started doing really well for a while. And of course, my most successful video was a negative one. I navigated that successfully. And I kind of weaved around and made sure that I was posting a kind of mix of content, not just keeping it negative. But now I feel like I'm just sort of tired. I'm tired of fighting the algorithm. I'm tired of catering to people's sort of perfect vision of what a video should be. And I'm tired of the system. But as I say, probably not quitting. It just means I've got to think about how I want to do this in the future, how I can make this self-sustainable, and no longer focus on it as potentially trying to get a stable foothold, stable number of subscribers, stable number of anything. Because YouTube doesn't do that anymore. YouTube is like a place for like nomads, essentially. People just wander through and then they leave. And people have said, oh, the World Cup could be a factor. Well, yeah, it could be. But so could NFL, so could any of these other things. Maybe people are watching something else instead. But in general, it's the overall lack of interest in anything at all, gaming or whatever. Now for the next topic, I want to talk about how difficult it has been trying to keep up with others throughout all of the channels, and feeling like you have to constantly post, feeling like you have to constantly talk about things, and feeling like you have to not disappoint your community. My biggest advice for all of it would be, it just doesn't matter. You need to keep yourself healthy. You need to keep yourself happy. You need to make sure that you are okay, like you are able to manage your own life, your own expectations, and not focus too much on what other people think, which is generic advice, of course. But biggest thing that I've been doing to try and boost my positivity is I've been trying to do a Dragon Quest video. But again, the laptop is hard to edit on. because of the kind of relatively small screen and the distance with the keyboard and everything like that. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the monitor is no longer working properly, so I need to order a part for it, the power brick. So that video is on hold. So instead, I've been playing games. And this is something that I've talked about a little bit. Trying to find hope, positivity, reasons to continue doing this. One of the big things is moving into video games. Because, like I said, I just as habit and just as sort of like what I can afford to do, I really only go out once a month and play games once a month, which is fine. Your average person probably does the same, but as a result, I can only spread out that content so much. And I long ago decided I'm not talking about Pokemon anymore because it depresses me. It really does. Right now, the current phase of Pokemon, you can either go bull or you can go bust. And everybody's going to go bust in the end. But, if you want to be happy, you have to keep out of that scene. And I made that decision, and I'm happy. Genuinely, I'm very happy. I still have stresses. I still have things that I have to worry about. I still have priorities that are kind of difficult to manage. That's life. I just know that I just wish that YouTube would help us more and tell us what we're supposed to do. Like I say, it's like the world's shittiest boss. And doesn't pay us. Contrary to what you've heard, YouTube doesn't pay most people. YouTube really, it doesn't subsidize your time, doesn't subsidize your effort. A video that is just me in front of here going, I fucking hate Pokemon, is going to get this huge amount of views because it's drama. And a video that I put passion and love and my entire self into is going to get no views. Because that's how it works. My video where I was just done with Pokemon and just went off, that got 147 views. My video where I'm talking about my love of shard books got 27, I think. So it's just really exhausting living in this negativity farm. And it's suffocating as well as a new creator, as a new creator, new to this channel creator. It's really suffocating, really exhausting. And it gets worse and worse every day. The worst thing is as well, and this is something that a channel pointed out to me sort of before I was watching the video, and I was like, that's actually a really good point. There's more and more people on this channel every day. And in general, there's too many people here now. When I first joined, I was a freak. I'm still a freak, if that helps. I was a freak who actually wants to do a YouTube channel. That's so weird. I watch YouTube sometimes. Like, no, everybody watches YouTube now. Everybody wants to be, a big popular person now. Everybody wants to be Rudy. Everybody wants to be, some big investor guy. Everybody wants to be some person who has influence over others, or tells people to buy this or don't buy this and things like that. And I've tried that hat on, and I hate that hat. I don't care what you do with your time. That's your business. I'd rather talk about what I'm doing with my time and whether or not it works for me and what I've done in my time, life experiences and things like that. So, in general, yeah, you've got to play the game, but how much you play it, that's your business. Like, how much you play the YouTube game, I mean, for clarity. How much you play this, it's entirely up to you. And for me, like, I'm getting to the point where I'm kind of, like I said, I'm 30. I'm getting too old for this shit. I'm not competing with bigger YouTubers. I don't ever want to be a bigger YouTuber. If I was, that's a topic for another day, I guess. But I guess my priority now is just to make something. And people have always said, oh yeah, just make something, anything, literally anything. Yeah, but if YouTube isn't subsidizing that with help, with boosting the content, what's the point? I'm making the video for myself. But I also want somebody else to see it because I want to know, how did I do? And if you're not getting feedback on how you did, or whether you're getting success or, whether you're succeeding or failing, that's entirely, it's entirely too exhausting to keep doing it for 10 years or 15 years or whatever it's been. Like I said, my first video on YouTube was like, when I was like, what, 14, 15, something like that. So yeah, just honestly, genuinely very exhausting. And I thought I'd vent about it. I'm not sure what I want to do about it. I like making videos. I just know that when I pour my time and effort into videos, and I mean like the more detailed, highly edited videos, YouTube doesn't reward that. YouTube doesn't care. When I put thumbnails up for more recent videos, YouTube doesn't care. When I change the algorithm, the tags and things like that, YouTube doesn't care. When I change how I present videos, when I change how I do things and make it more refined, YouTube doesn't care. I can pour 40, 50, 60 hours into a video and YouTube doesn't care. YouTube is, for a smaller creator at the very least, not going to push your videos out to anybody. At least this is my experience. Don't get dissuaded from what I'm saying. You may have a completely different experience. Maybe it is something like that. Maybe YouTube doesn't like the bait. Who knows? But my experience is YouTube does not care what I do. It just will not push the content out to people. It will not give me an audience of stable people. It will not give me a community to help, advise, to ask questions with, to possibly play games with. It will just say, here is a couple of people who might be interested in your channel every now and then. And that's it. And then whenever you ask anybody, you get nothing but excuses from YouTube. They say, well, it could be this, it could be that. Oh, it's probably this. It's not good enough. And I'm kind of just tired of it. Like I said, I'm tired of pretending everything's hunky-dory. It isn't. YouTube is just really, really busting my balls. Has been for years. And again, I want to say I'm done with it. But this is the most stable platform that we have. Part of me is sort of considered doing like TikTok or things like that, but then they have their own rules where you got to get close to the camera. It's like, here's 5 tips to do X, Y, and Z. No, I'm not for that. That's exhausting. And the personas that you have to put on for all of these social media sites as well. It's just ridiculous. Like, on YouTube, I feel like I can, and this is the one positive thing I will say. On YouTube, I feel like I can be myself, but I also feel like I'm being slapped around the face for being myself. So, yeah, just not a great time, to tell you the truth. And I just hate it. I hate it here. I hate what this site has become. Everything in my feed is clickbait. I try to avoid clickbait as much as possible. I have a tool to stop clickbait installed in my Chrome browser, and it still feels clickbaity. Everything still feels clickbaity. Everything still feels like crap. Everything still is trying to grab your attention and hold you there against your will, and I hate it. The At the end of the day, though, like I say, I just wish there was more communication. I wish there was more interest in the creating community, and what we are actually going to do, and what we should do, what we shouldn't do, areas where we could improve. And they think that the solution to that is give us an AI agent that is completely clueless about most things except our analytics. But it analyzes those analytics like a person in a secondary school currently analyzes the the world, which is through a lens of, discipline and structure and reorder this, and sometimes it's just fucked. Sometimes YouTube just decides you're screwed. And that's how it feels with me anyway. Flipping it back to a more positive sort of thing, I do want to keep going. I know that this is just a blip, a long, long blip. Growth can't happen forever. There'll be peaks and troughs. But I just hate that there's nothing I can do about it. And I hate that for my passion project, the one that I mentioned about Dragon Quest Monsters specifically, I have to think about, will this get lambasted? Will this get attacked? Will this get aggression? Or will this get apathy? Apathy hurts worse than aggression to me. If people are like, oh my god, I really hate that, that really sucks, blah, 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 blah. If people are like that, I understand that. I can say, well, you're entitled to your opinion, blah, 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 whatever. Thanks for the like, thanks for the view, whatever. But apathy, and more specifically, algorithmically driven apathy, no, I can't deal with that. That's a level of not caring, systematic not caring, that I just can't deal with. But like I said, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to stop listening to the advice of YouTube's fucking community shit and YouTube's AI magic robot that will teach you how to do all of these things. It doesn't know shit. It knows how to twist statistics. When you flip the graph this way, it looks this way. It's all the same shit. And if you're a small creator, or if you're a bigger creator who's experiencing similar things, let me know. Reach out. Because I know that this sucks. This feeling sucks. And it really hurts, to tell you the truth, because it's like, well, okay, I'm putting effort into my content, sharing it in one place, as YouTube advisors, sharing it in one place. And it just goes in the ether and it vanishes. Anyway, frustrations aside, hopefully, if my friend actually does bring Halo Flashpoint, I'll have a video on Halo Flashpoint, maybe a couple of videos on Halo Flashpoint, talking about the gameplay and whether I like it or not. And that should be exciting. Getting back to tabletop stuff will actually be a lot of fun. And hopefully things are a bit more positive from here on out. I just had to get that off my chest because I'm so sick of it. I really am so sick of the way YouTube works. I'm not expecting like, oh, you got 10 billion views now. But I am expecting YouTube to do something. Like, I put videos up, share them to people, for God's sake. I bothered to edit a thumbnail. Like, I've edited a thumbnail for this one. Actually share that thumbnail with people and make it so that people are actually seeing it. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.